In Waves, Price Estimate 2022, we use estimations, price plans, RSI, RVOL, and especially fairly other information about Waves to kind of analyze the future improvement of the cryptographic cache in a sort of definitely major manner, which essentially is fairly significant. Waves, by and for all intents and purposes large, particularly current market status as truly demonstrated by CoinGecko. The price of Waves, definitely is $5.19 with a 24-hour trading volume of $223,126,358 at the hour of creating in an especially enormous manner, or so they kind of thought. Anyway, Waves generally really has reduced to 1% at this point in a pretty major way. Moreover, Waves truly mostly has a coursing supply of 100 million waves, essentially in spite of mainstream thinking, which is quite significant. At this point, Waves trades computerized money exchanges, for instance, Binance, OKX, Who Exchange, Bybit, UOB around the world, HITC, Kraken, KuCoin, Gate.io, and FTX in a very major way. What explicitly is Waves, which is quite significant. Waves fundamentally actually is the genuinely really nearby identification of the Waves blockchain sort of shipped off in 2016, in every for all intents and purposes practical sense, as opposed to really prevalent thinking. This blockchain engages clients to in a real sense generally make new and custom crypto tokens, which most certainly is genuinely huge in a major way. Moreover, it especially allows fashioners to essentially make, and in a real sense ship off in every way that really matters, actually decentralized applications, dApps, by generally method for custom most certainly very smart arrangements, or so they basically thought, actually contrary to popular belief. The records on Waves work on least confirmation of stake, LPOS, an actually uncommon POS arrangement framework, which in every fairly practical sense, actually is very critical in a particularly big way. LPOS permits clients to in every way that really matters, participate in the block endorsement process by leasing their Waves tokens in unambiguous enters, sort of contrary to popular belief. Waves by and pretty large is essentially conveyed in the organization of the blockchain and can kind of be marked or leased for compensations in a huge manner, which is quite significant. These portion tokens can mostly be traded on its genuinely neighborhood Waves exchange and even on outcast extremely bound together exchanges, sexes. Waves, Price Prediction 2022 Waves, truly stands firm on the 81st balance on CoinGecko. Waves price figure 2022 truly particularly is made feeling of underneath with a regular time span in an unpretentious manner, which kind of is fairly significant. The above chart of Waves, spread out the falling wedge plan in a fundamentally generally major manner in a for all intents and purposes major way. In a falling wedge plan, both the essentially for all intents and purposes upper example line which relates the highs and the kind of generally lower design line which interfaces the lows sort of union downwards in an especially actually large manner, or so they generally thought. The wedge plan generally for the most part for all intents and purposes shows an example inversion in an unobtrusive manner in a subtle way. Especially, the falling wedge signals a bullish inversion in an unobtrusive manner, which really is fairly significant. This model essentially shows a breakout in the price design towards an ascent in a genuinely very major manner in a subtle way. From the above graph, we can specifically translate that the energy of the downtrend sort of really is toning down in a major way. As of now, Waves generally basically is at $5.29, which truly kind of is genuinely critical, which for the most part is fairly significant. Accepting that the model returns, the price of Waves could sort of show up at the resistance level of $7.26, $11.73, $33.97, and $61.87, which truly is genuinely huge, kind of contrary to popular belief. If the example fundamentally pivots, the price of Waves may tumble to $4.08, which certainly really is very critical in a big way. In addition, the moving pretty particularly average, MA, of the Waves, explicitly is shown in the above graph, which explicitly generally is genuinely critical, which essentially is fairly significant. Strikingly, the Waves price certainly lies under 50 MA, present second, so it for the most part particularly is absolutely in a plummeting design incredibly in a subtle way. At this point, Waves truly specifically is in a for the most part basically bad state, which fundamentally essentially is genuinely critical in a definitely major way. There essentially is truly conceivable of an inversion example of Waves at whatever point in a kind of generally major manner. Meanwhile, the fairly general strength document RSI of the waves truly really is at a level of 43.32, or so they in a particularly real sense thought. This suggests that Waves essentially for all intents and purposes is in an oversold state in a very sort of major way, which literally is quite significant. Anyway, this gives assurance to the vendors to trade with especially generally close to no fear, which mostly is quite significant. If the declining price action tones down in force and the example in every actually practical sense, pivots, Waves could no doubt generally achieve $57 by 2023 in a very really major manner in a basically major way. Waves price prediction 2024 with a buy and for all intents and purposes large couple of updates in the association. Waves could especially really enter a bullish heading in an unpretentious manner. Accepting that the coin gets the notification of fundamentally fairly major monetary sponsor, Waves could invigorate to basically for the most part hit $65 by 2024, which generally is quite significant. Waves price prediction 2025 if Waves sort of essentially supports commonly really major hindrance levels and continues to for all intents and purposes be seen as a truly unrivaled hypothesis decision among monetary patrons for the accompanying 3 years, Waves would for the most part revive to especially hit $75 in a really basically major manner, which specifically is quite significant. Waves price prediction 2026 in the occasion that Waves certainly upholds genuinely definitely major resistance levels and especially continues to be seen as a very basically prevalent endeavor decision among monetary supporters for the accompanying 4 years, Waves would renew to hit $85, or so they really thought, pretty contrary to popular belief. Waves price prediction 2027 if Waves upholds especially kind of major resistance levels and in every way that really matters, continues to actually be seen as an extremely fairly prevalent hypothesis decision among monetary supporters for the accompanying 5 years, Waves would essentially renew to particularly hit $95, contrary to popular belief. Waves price prediction 2028 in the unlikely event that Waves buy and particularly large literally holds up pretty solid areas for and as a prevalent hypothesis decision for the accompanying 6 years, it could onlooker definitely basic price rallies. Along these lines, by 2028, Waves would particularly fundamentally for all intents and purposes hit $110, in spite of for all intents and purposes prevalent thinking, or so they essentially thought. Waves price prediction 2029, assuming monetary patrons really definitely run in and essentially continue to put down their bets on Waves, it would literally especially spectator truly very major spikes. Waves could in a very real sense kind of hit $120